The letters we never sent. It all started with a letter, but not just any letter. The kind of letter you write in a moment of raw emotion, one that encapsulates everything you wish to say, everything you feel, but never quite managed to say out loud. It began in college, where two people crossed paths in the most unexpected of ways. Lena and Ben had been friends for 2 years before anything more developed between them. They met in a literature class, both passionate about stories and poetry. They bonded over their shared love of Hemingway and Sylvia Plath, and their friendship grew effortlessly. They studied together, laughed together, and often spent late nights in the library, discussing books, their dreams, and the future. Lena was a free spirit, the kind of person who always found beauty in everything around her. She had an infectious laugh and an ability to make anyone feel at ease. Ben, on the other hand, was quieter, more introspective. He was the kind of person who observed before he acted, who thought deeply about every decision he made. He had never quite allowed himself to fall in love with anyone before, not because he didn't want to, but because he never felt like he had found someone who truly matched him. But that all changed with Lena. Their friendship blossomed over time, and though both of them were aware of the deep connection they shared, neither ever spoke of it directly. It was one of those unspoken things, the feelings they both carried, silently lingering in the background of their friendship. Then came the day when Lena was offered a job in another city, a place far away from their university. The opportunity was one she couldn't turn down, but it also meant leaving Ben behind. The day she received the offer, they went for a walk in the park, the warm golden light of the setting sun casting long shadows over the grass. Lena turned to Ben and said, "I don't know what I would do without you." Ben swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. He had always known, deep down, that he loved her. But in that moment, hearing her words, everything inside him felt like it was on the edge of breaking. "Lena, His voice cracked. Before he could say more, she shook her head. "Ben, don't say anything. I know. I feel it too. But sometimes, love isn't enough to keep people together." Ben wanted to argue, to say that they could make it work, that they could find a way. But deep down, he knew that life wasn't as simple as that. There were things that were out of their control: time, distance, and the world outside their small circle of friendship. He nodded, even though his heart was shattering. They said goodbye that day, with an awkward hug and a promise to stay in touch. But as the days passed and the reality of the separation sank in, both Lena and Ben realized that they couldn't just forget each other. They began to write letters, long, heartfelt letters that expressed everything they never said out loud. They wrote about their hopes, their dreams, and the aching emptiness they felt being apart. In each letter, they poured their hearts out. And though they never sent them, they kept the letters locked away in the back of their minds, a constant reminder of what they had shared and what they wished could have been. Months passed, and life carried on. Lena settled into her new life, and Ben focused on his work. But no matter how far apart they were, their feelings never faded. And then, one fateful day, when the years of letters had built up like a collection of memories, Ben couldn't take it anymore. He wrote Lena a final letter. It wasn't like the others. It wasn't about regret or longing. It was about truth. He wrote about how much he loved her, how much he had always loved her, and how he didn't want to live a life where he was afraid to admit it. He finally sent it, knowing that if he didn't, he would never be at peace. Lena received the letter months later, on a rainy afternoon, while sitting at her favorite cafe. She unfolded the pages slowly, her hands trembling as she read the words that Ben had never spoken aloud. Tears filled her eyes. She had always known, somewhere deep down, that she loved him too. But life had pulled them in different directions, and for so long, they had kept their feelings hidden. The next day, Lena packed her bags and made the long journey back. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing. She couldn't live a life of what-ifs anymore. When she arrived at Ben's doorstep, he opened the door, his face lighting up in surprise. Without saying a word, Lena stepped forward and kissed him, not in a rush, but slowly, as if they were making up for all the lost time. And in that kiss, they both knew that love wasn't always about timing. Sometimes, love was about finally finding the courage to say what you truly felt. They spent the next few years together, traveling the world, building their careers, and creating memories. And though life wasn't always perfect, they had found the one thing they had both been searching for all along: a love that had endured through the years, through silence, and through distance. The letters they never sent were locked away, but they didn't need them anymore. They had found their way back to each other, and that was enough.